On this week's show, we'll be discussing the top 25 PlayStation 1 games, reviews are out for Highguard and Cairn, plus we'll maybe getting a Nintendo Direct and a PlayStation State of Play this month. All that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to the GamerGuild Podcast, your weekly show where we round up all the week's video game stories and news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV and up there in the digital clouds on your podcast preference of choice. Your podcast players for this week are myself, Mr. Richie, who has a slight head cold, which is annoying the hell out of me, and Mr. Chris.
I have a slight head warm, so I'm quite toasty in this room today. We'll balance each other out. So we
balance each other out, yeah.
That's how it works. How are you doing?
I've got a slight head cold.
I have a slight head warm. That's good to know. Aside from... how do you get a head cold? What do you define a head cold as? I don't think it's something I've ever used.
You know when you're just like, you feel some of the symptoms of a cold, but it's all like just a stuffiness in your head and just like...
right.
You're not like achy or sweaty. You don't feel ill as much.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like snotty and like congested.
Yeah, you're running at like 80%.
Yeah,
power rather than full.
It's all up here in your sinuses. Like you just feel a bit tired, a bit off, but not terrible. Not so bad that you feel like you need to take some time off work. But enough that it's hard. It's a pain in the ass when you go to sleep because you can't breathe. You have to breathe through your mouth, and you wake up with cotton mouth every morning.
Yep. Cotton mouth as well. That's a term I don't use myself.
Yeah, I don't think I've used it before, but I have now.
And yet you just did. Cotton in the mouth. Have you seen those plants where people bite them and they explode with like the seeds essentially in the mouth? They look we have.
I mean, I know the plants you mean, but I don't know why people bite them.
It's because it's viral stuff. It's because they look like corn dogs, but then I think they explode with such ferocity and people choke on them and inhale them.
Like a foxtail or something.
Yeah, it's something really daft. But
if you've someone who's done that for the sake of putting an Instagram reel or something out, have some self-respect.
Absolutely, like we do on this channel.
Yeah. Talking about self-respect, Chris, have you been playing anything interesting?
Ooh, anything self-respect? Again, I'm still kind of waiting on a time window. I know I've got Resident Evil in like 3 weeks, so I'm probably going to start something short. I did play it on the channel. There's a first look, I guess a retro first look, second look, whatever you would call it. Do you still call it a first look when you did play it many years ago, but you forgot everything about the game, so it technically is a first look?
Yeah, I suppose it's first look for the channel.
Yeah, it's like if you had a YouTube channel and you had like serious onset dementia, you could just do the same game every day and it would be a first look every single day.
Yeah. There's a series in that.
Absolutely, but you wouldn't remember to do it, so...
Yeah. You get people going in like Reddit and talking about the nuances of your different playthroughs without you.
There's a psychological study in there. But in all seriousness, go support dementia charities. It's a horrible disease. Yeah. In terms of games, though, I went back in time and played the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time on the PlayStation 2 because of the utter disappointment Ubisoft left us with last week. I felt it appropriate to go back, play the original, and ask myself, does it deserve a remake after 7 years in the making and the sudden axe dropping on it? Did it really deserve to get to launch? And so I played about an hour or so. As always, we're very timely on this channel. Yeah, as always, we're very timely on this channel. We wait till the developer cancels the project to go, does it deserve the remake? Yes, does it deserve one? But it was interesting going back to, because I had like kind of a bit of a history with the title, but there's a lot of DNA you can see in the early opening and the combat regarding like what would be eventually Assassin's Creed, like the parkour and the climbing and stuff. So that was quite interesting to see. And it is a cool setting. It's a brilliant concept of having the ability to rewind time, whether you die or you maybe fall to your death while you're climbing. And it just adds to a really interesting dynamic. But yeah, played about an hour and a half, got through a couple of little puzzles, didn't get to any of the major puzzles. But yeah, go check it out. Love some feedback on it to see if you would yourself think it deserves a remake. And it just goes to show you with physical media, if you want to play it, you can always go back. And I had to dust off the old PlayStation 3 to play it. So my backwards compatibility one has been stuck behind me on the shelf since I moved home last summer.
So you find an excuse to get it out.
It's out, yeah. Well, there's a few things I want to dabble in for the channel in terms of retro. I know a few people who've been watching the PlayStation Retro Hunt have asked, like, when I buy these games, do I intend to play them? I was like, yes, I do. I just need the time and the scope to sit down and actually get cracking with them. But having the PlayStation out is one step to it. So, shout out, I guess, to this week's PlayStation Retro Hunt for members only. It's the one and only Ape Escape. The first game to feature the DualShock, got the dual analog sticks, I should say, and the DualShock controller.
It required the DualShock, didn't it, Ape Escape? So it wasn't just the first game to utilise it, it's the first game to require it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a bold decision mid-console generation to require a different controller than that it launched with.
I feel like it was quite early on, though. Like, all of my memories do centre around having the analog sticks. Like, I remember seeing the original controllers, but I don't really remember that much because we jumped from the Mega Drive in my household to the PlayStation in around like 95, 96. So it felt weird to start with. I distinctly remember my dad bringing it home and giving us the new controller, and my brain just not being able to process the 3D nature of it. Because it was just, at the time, my entire life was you went from left to right. Some games did it quicker, like Sonic. Some days did it slower, like Son of Chuck. But it's suddenly to be like in control of the camera and everything around you, it took a lot of time to familiarise with.
Devs were figuring out themselves. Like, you look at the N64, like, they made it work, but realistically, it was probably the original DualShock. What predated the DualShock? There was something else, wasn't it, that had the two sticks before they had the Rumble?
I think it was just called the PlayStation controller, and then the kind of locked in the DualShock shortly after.
I thought they had
probably just analog controller.
With the analog sticks, but that wasn't the DualShock. Anyway,
I think when I'm saying DualShock, I think that's just a loose term I use for the one with the sticks.
The invention of that controller is what kind of popularised the right stick for camera. Because Nintendo were using the C buttons.
Yeah, I know, that's so troublesome to go back to. And actually, to tie it in as well, in Prince of Persia, the first thing I had to do was alter the camera controls to inverted, because weirdly enough, when you use the right stick to pan left and right, it does the opposite. You know, like on a plane when you would pull up on the joysticks to go up rather than down, so you're technically doing it the wrong way. You had to do it to the left and right, so 10 seconds into Prince of Persia, I was like, I need to stop and change this.
It's probably before it was standardised, so that was probably Ubisoft's standard, where nowadays that would be considered to be inverted.
Yeah, so weird how
inverted controls suck. If you play with inverted controls, really, really have a think about where your life's going.
Yeah, you don't deserve a joystick.
If you were driving a car, you wouldn't use inverted controls. You wouldn't turn left to go right. It doesn't make sense.
You'd be inverting into a wall.
You don't press the brake to go forwards.
Certainly not.
Or go backwards, either. Actually, as some old racing games made you do. Remember you used to hold the brake to reverse?
Yeah, absolutely. How about yourself? Please tell me you've finished. Please.
I have rolled credits.
Right.
I am one trophy off the platinum.
Right.
There's the super boss, and I got my ass handed to me when I tried it a few days ago.
Okay.
I haven't played since. I think it's one of them games where, although I've done everything else the game has to offer, unfortunately I'm still slightly underleveled for this boss. And so my plan after we finish recording tonight, we're recording this on Friday, is to go through my party, optimise it, because there's like 35 party members. And there's one bot that uses all 35, which was pretty damn awesome. But most fights only use 8 at a time. So I'm going to optimise all my gear and stuff for 8 party members to really kind of zone that in. Then try again. And then if that doesn't work, then I'm going to have to do some grinding.
Yeah.
But it was one of them. I tried it for my best party as it was set up from when I finished the game. I was like, yeah, this is not going to happen. So
you'll get there.
Yeah, I'll get there. But it's just one of them things that's frustrating when you've got that one trophy left.
At least it seems like one you know what to do. It's not like an absolutely weird, obscure one that's going to take some pain.
I've still got headroom in terms of leveling up, so it's not like with Claire Obscure, you hit level 99 and Simon is still a bitch. It's like I've still got about good 20 levels that I can level up, which is quite a bit, really, of like stat boosts.
Yeah.
I can optimise my party better. There's definitely still things I can do. So I think once I've got that nailed in, I'll be fine.
I have faith in you.
And then it's probably Control after that. It's sat there installed, waiting to go, but didn't
excited
quite
to hear.
Yeah, I haven't got it over the Octopath over the line in time. But yeah, Octopath, loved it. Definitely worth picking up if you're into like that style of game. Where shall we go, Chris? We do have a great show lined up for you, so make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to keep in the loop of all our fantastic shows here at GamerGuildTV, such as Chris's weekly retro hunt. And actually today, in this episode, we are celebrating 500 episodes of gaming podcasts, totaling approximately 31 days of your life if you've listened to every single one of them. So apologies for that.
How do you feel about that? We've used the sands of time to take away an entire month of your life if you've been listening from the beginning.
A long month as well, not a pesky February.
Yeah, absolutely. A full, proper, committed month. But 500 episodes in total, 500 podcasts. It's wild to think we've sat down almost 500 together. I think between a couple of cast changes and rotating chairs, it's been you and me sat here for 500.
Well, I think, truthfully, both of us are probably knocking on the door about 480, 490.
Yeah, I think over the 6-7 years, we've only collectively probably missed a handful, if that. But yeah, wild to think 500. Who'd have thought back in 2019 when we started covering Stadia news, we'd be sat here celebrating 500 episodes of talking about video games. Obviously in different guises. Sounds of Stadia podcast, Talking the PS, X-Pass podcast, Lunar Listening.
We survived
Side
COVID.
Quest, Side Quest
we both moved.
as well.
Cloud Quest.
Yeah, Cloud Quest, Side Quest, and every little thing in between. But yeah, it's been a delight, and I guess thank you to everyone's support. Special shout out to everyone who's kind of helped us, I guess, push the algorithm. I was saying to Richie kind of before we went live, ahead of Christmas, we tried to push for the 2,600 sub mark just to get us over that 600 nice round figure. And we've had an explosive January where we've somehow flew past the 2,700 mark. So we've either dropped into the algorithm at the start of 2026 quite nicely, or we're doing something better than we were last month. So thank you very much.
I wonder if like YouTube has a kind of like a clean slate thing in every January to just like freshen it up a bit.
Well, if they got rid of all the AI stuff out there, we'd probably rise to the top. There is also, I will point out, anyone who does watch on YouTube, it's something I've been doing every week, is you can hype videos now. I don't know if you've seen that. Right. So when you have the comments, you can swipe the comments to the side, and there's an option to hype the video, and you basically reward the video with stars. And if you accrue more stars, I think it helps push you up the YouTube algorithm on like they do like a leaderboard. I don't really know what the behind it is, but that might be helping it. So yeah, hype us up, both literally and figuratively, if you can.
You mentioned AI slop. I wonder if like the amount of like pointless, boring, bland AI content that's out there nowadays is pushing people away from a shorter form content towards longer form.
I hope so.
Because
long form is where the good discussions are.
Yeah, because how many times are you just scrolling through like YouTube shorts and it's just AI, or people basically just stealing content. Neil deGrasse Tyson on the top half and some guys screwing something in with an increased frame rate in the bottom half. And it's like, this is just fucking pointless. Like,
people might be doing it to us. We just don't know. People might be taking our podcast, clipping it out, and putting just random stuff with it. But we'll all be here for authenticity. Yes, authenticity.
Talk about authenticity, Chris. It wouldn't be an authentic GamerGuild podcast if you didn't introduce us to
the graciously gathered GamerGuild Gazette, aka the news. And as always, the news is brought to you by our wonderful guild heroes, which you can become for as little as 99 pence over on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for your support. You get early access, that's the call talking to Chris's PlayStation Retro Hunt, on top of occasional other things that we work on throughout the year. So thank you very much for your support. First item, Chris. It's a bit of a slow news week, so we're going to start by talking about the top 25 PlayStation 1 games of all time, according to IGN. Yeah, there's many lists out there. I did initially have Metacritic, but Metacritic I think sometimes is a bit skewed because depending on your audience, It had the greatest PlayStation 1 game of all time down as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, I want to say, which is a phenomenal game. But then you think in the grander scheme of like its impact on gaming and the whole generation as a whole, it's like I find it hard to think that's the best. Even
but is it better than, for example, Final Fantasy VII or Metal Gear Solid 1?
Exactly. That's what. Again, it's all subjective. So let's.
Truthfully, I've just scrolled down the IGN list. I picked 2 games out the top of my head. Top 2 places: Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid 1.
Well, don't ruin the list before we get to it.
I just found it funny that the 2 games I went to. I haven't talked to what order though.
Well, yeah. we'll run down them again. Not big discussion. There's only a few things came out this week. So I thought I'll get like a more of a topical one in at the start. And yeah, we'll just go through them. We'll see if we've played them. That's the first thing. In at number 25 on IGN's list, they've got Parappa the Rapper. Did you ever play Parappa the Rapper?
I did not. Well, I'm going to give some context here. I never personally owned the PS1. I owned the PS2, skipped the PS3, then owned the PS4, and then PS5.
But a PS2 did play PS1 games.
Yes, but how many kids are buying PS1 games for the PS2? You might have picked up the odd one or birthday presents, but at the same time I owned my PS2, I had my N64, which is the console I preferred at that time.
You're aware of Parappa the Rapper then?
Yes, I am aware.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that out up front before I just say, no, I haven't played it, no, I haven't played it, no, I haven't played it, no, I haven't played it.
True. Yeah,
I should be doing the retro hunt, not you.
You should, yeah. I mean, Parappa the Rapper is on my list, but it's not cheap. You're talking probably 70, 80 quid for a decent copy. I almost had one this week, actually. I lost out on a live auction bid, like a decent copy of it as well, but it was that thing where on eBay you kind of wait till the end and then like someone nicks you in, but it's also that I've got that push and pull of how much I want to really commit to it. Like, I don't want to go ridiculous. I do want it, but it's a troublesome game, this retro hunt thing.
I feel like eBay should have a thing where 5 minutes before the thing ends, you can no longer put a bid in.
Yeah, but then people will just do the whole outbid you on the 6 minute mark instead. So
yeah, but unless you already have a bid in, like 5-10 minutes before the end, it's only people who've put a bid in are left in the pool.
Yeah, like narrow it down.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
But yes, Parappa the Rapper, before Rock Band, before Guitar Hero, and even Dance Dance Revolution, there was Parappa the Rapper, an unlikely rapping game featuring a cartoonish flat dog and his animal pals, Richie. I always think of this as like almost like the dance mat, but without the dance mat.
Yeah, it's a rhythm game. It's probably one of the first popular rhythm games.
Yeah, absolutely. It, again, created like just characters. Like that was like kind of the symbol of the time, wasn't it? And we're probably going to see as we go through this list is like character mascots, and immediately, and even to this day, Parappa the Rapper still very recognisable as a PlayStation mascot. So it's nice to see him making the top list, and ultimately a fun game to this day because, as you said, because it is just a rhythm game. It doesn't really need much. It doesn't need like massive like graphic fidelity or anything. It just means if you can follow along to the beat, chop, punch, kick, chop. And I say chop because I think he chops onions with Master Onion, who's the kind of the teacher who tells him what to do. Absolutely. Now, yeah, in at number 24, we've got Oddworld Abe's Odyssey.
Abe's Odyssey.
You've got to have played Abe's Odyssey, right?
I've probably played bits and pieces of these games, but not on the PS1. I won't have finished the game. I've probably played this at your house.
I never finished the game. So this is one where a lot of these are kind of thing due to our age. So this one came out in 97. So we were 6 or 7 year old. And it's like a quite difficult action puzzle platformer. I think I picked it up because of like the character. It was like Abe, who's like this little alien creature. He makes funny noises. He can use his telekinesis or telepath. Is that what it is? Telekinesis is different. Telekinesis is where you move shit, right? Telepathy, yeah.
Telekinesis where you can move stuff.
Yeah. So where you can control people's minds and you basically make them do stuff like walk off cliffs to clear the way. You could make them fart. Things like that were funny to me as a kid. You could explode their head by focusing your energy. So it was quite violent at the same time, but had a funny, almost like a Wallace and Gromit-esque comedy to me. Yeah, crazy character design, deep lore, very like Metroidvania feel where you worked in a meat factory. But I don't think I ever got very far because of the difficulty. I don't think my child brain could figure out like the Metroidvania way of pull that lever to lower that to get that villain to move to there so you could get past. and it was kind of lost to me. But the humour and the character design.
How many times do you think you played through the opening couple of levels?
Oh, hundreds of times. Of times. Some of these games might have even predated me having a memory card. So it might have been a case of just you had to just keep playing the first few levels.
That is true. I think a lot of gamers, like young gamers now, probably don't appreciate is games back then you had to buy an external memory card if you wanted to save your progress. In a lot of games, it wasn't. Some games you didn't, but a lot of games you needed an external memory card.
Well, the workaround was often passwords, right?
Yeah.
Once you got to level 15, it would give you a password to write down so you could jump straight back to level 15.
If you remember to write down the password, remember where you're writing it down, you could do that. But more likely you're not, as a stupid kid, you didn't write it down and you just next time you played, you just turned it on and you're back at the beginning, just start from there. Back at the start,
yeah. There's many people of our generation who are very familiar with all the Sonic levels through 1 through 4, 5, but then don't have a clue what the soundtrack is to the last 2 levels because they never got there.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting.
23, Spider-Man.
Yeah, the original.
Absolute classic.
I say original. There was a few before on the SNES and PC and stuff, but Activision and Neversoft, who would go on to make Tony Hawk's, of course, so really branching themselves out there. This is kind of the template for what superhero games would be going forward.
You could argue that the PS5 and PS4 Spider-Man games are modern iterations of this. If you watch the trailers, you can see the inspiration. They're not you're not looking at them going, these are a very, very different game. They are very much similar games, just with worse hardware.
Yeah, you can see the combat, the plan. What I did love about this one, because I do have this one, I remember playing it, either this or Spider-Man 2, is just the web's just attached to the sky. There's no obviously they don't have the physics, as you said, to distinctly look for skyscrapers or Klingon points. So it's just he just shoots it into the sky, clings on, and the way they masked obviously the inability to create the flaw, the detail, was just a thick fog. A bit like Superman 64. It's just a thick yellowy fog, and you just existed. A lot of the missions kind of funneled you down into buildings. So the story parts were quite linear and you couldn't see the city of New York. But again, clever design to get around it, and you really felt, for me, like Spider-Man. And as a kid, you kind of forewent the graphics, I guess, not looking great because you didn't know they looked cutting edge at the time.
Well, you have to remember as well, with the PS1, you were playing games on a CD, not a DVD. So CDs were invented to store music, so a few thousand kilobytes. So there wasn't a lot of memory on these things to work with.
Yeah, and I think what was great with this as well is it was kind of Marvel before the MCU. So that this game had cameos. I remember Daredevil being in it. I think you did get unlockable costumes. Similar to, if you flip it around the other way, in Tony Hawk's, you could have a Spider-Man costume, right? Because it was Neversoft who did both. I feel like that was an unlockable skin. You wouldn't get that today. You'd have to pay a lot of money. But yeah, seeing Daredevil, Human Torch and stuff. I think Punisher was maybe in one of them. And then now, if you had that in today's game, could you imagine Punisher showing up in Spider-Man 2 on the PS5? Or Daredevil? People would be like, spin-off! Other game, oh my god, it's crazy, they're all connected. And back then it was just it's all Marvel Comics, why wouldn't it be connected? They show up all the time in the cartoons and the comics. And
the licensing was probably peanuts back then as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Well,
truthfully, Marvel probably didn't really care too much as long as they got, we'll just give us a couple of quid and you can do what you want.
Yeah. Well, this was 2000, so it's just as they started to sell some of the rights to Fox and Sony and such. So, and it was never the same again.
Yeah, and ironically now, Neversoft, Activision is owned by Xbox, yet Spider-Man is owned by Sony.
Yeah, crazy world.
Yeah.
In at 22, we've got the very first Medal of Honor. I do remember playing this one.
Yeah, I think I definitely played this. I think I vaguely recall playing this from my cousin's house.
Yeah, I think it made it quite unique because every shooter-esque game, I think, was only on PC at that point, like the Dooms, the Quakes and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't feel like consoles really lended themselves to it, and then I think maybe it was with the introduction of the dual sticks that came into it, where you were all of a sudden able to have this free movement.
The ability to actually aim properly.
Yeah, absolutely, rather than an up, down, left and right style.
And you can argue, to this day, aiming is still better with a mouse and keyboard. But I feel like consoles in the last 20 years have caught up quite a lot
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, Medal of Honor, first time I think we saw like World War II. Before like Call of Duty for decades has kind of like watered down the genre. This was like all new and fresh. Like we had war movies, we had war TV shows, but gaming, it didn't really set like we obviously had been in games in various guises, but to like kind of put you on the front line. And this was kind of produced by Steven Spielberg as well. So in and around as he's starting to think of a Saving Private Ryan movie, so really give it that kind of like cinematic feel. And yeah, fella, I remember enjoying Medal of Honor. And it's kind of a shame that it was, I guess, kind of left like by EA. Like I know they'll focus on Battlefield, but it's like this. Yeah. They did a Medal of Honor VR, I think, a few years ago.
Yeah, but I was going to go into a quick bit of trivia. Did you know that it was originally created by Steven Spielberg?
Yes.
And yet the last game that they released was Medal of Honor Above and Beyond in 2020 for Windows and Oculus VR. Before then, is the last console release, Medal of Honor Warfighter, which was on the PS3 in 2012. So
wow, it's been a minute.
It's basically dormant for 14 years apart from a one VR spin-off. Yeah. It feels like this could be EA's World War II Battlefront. You know how Call of Duty often goes into slightly different genres? EA could do the same thing with Battlefront. Battlefield?
We've got Battlefield,
and Medal of Honor.
Yeah, so you got your two branching paths.
Yeah.
I'd take a campaign for Medal of Honor and online multiplayer from Battlefield quite happily.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it felt great. FPS on the PlayStation 1 feeling great, very, very memorable.
Next up at number 21, Chris.
Yeah, mentioned it already in the show.
Ape Escape.
And actually, yeah, if you are a guild hero, you can go watch me hunt this down, see what the gameplay is like, talk about it. We've already discussed it already in the show, but yeah, the DualShocks, right? Coming into it, the analog sticks felt so natural. It just didn't sit right, and yet everyone seemed to adopt the new technology, and then go practice, go catch apes. It's very much like Pokemon, but with apes. You play a Spike, you have a net, and you have to use those pesky DualShock controllers to go and catch the bastards.
So the one thing I definitely want to say about Ape Escape is reading directly from the IGN article. Oddly enough, Ape Escape proved to be oddly prescient. In 2016, a chimpanzee named Cha-Cha escaped from a Japanese zoo, and local police were able to subdue him safely, presumably thanks to simulations they'd run in Ape Escape.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the reason.
I just wanted to read that on the podcast.
But you know what? It's fun. It's fun, whimsical gameplay. It doesn't take itself seriously. It does have like an evil monkey taking over the whole world based on that. It's got like a crazy doctor, a sidekick, and it just works. There's been multiple spin-offs across like PSP and other ones.
All very different games so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's again diverse back then, right? Everyone was testing the genres and what fit, what didn't fit. But yeah, Ape Escape, more recently, we should point out as well, Metal Gear Solid Delta had, because it's, of course, across both of them, it's got that weird, like, Japanese relationship with Konami. So yeah, they were in the old game, and then there's a part in Metal Gear Solid Delta which you can run around as Snake and capture them with your trank gun and put them in a net. Don't know why.
I never actually played that mode.
It's fun. It just plonks you into a part of the map, and they're hiding in bushes and up trees, and you just have to find them all within a time limit, and it gives you like a score, like an arcade. So it's fun, but it's interesting to see Solid Snake hunt down these cheeky little monkeys, or apes, I should say. Different. There is a difference.
Makes perfect sense. In at number 20 is Crash Team Racing.
Yes, some would argue the best kart racer of the generation.
Some would argue against that.
Some would argue against it.
Is video still members only on our channel? Or is it
I
for everyone?
actually don't know, but we should make it for everyone at some point. Maybe after this one. Celebrate 500 episodes. But yeah, after the success Naughty Dog, of course, had with the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, this is their last Crash Bandicoot game that Naughty Dog made. They saw what Mario Kart done ahead of it, and then they added a bit of a story to it, and they remade it, I guess, in their own Naughty Dog style, using the characters and the soundtrack and stuff and the weapons from the Crash Bandicoot lore. And we ended up with like a really innovative skill-based drift/boost system. And to this day, it's one of the most beloved franchises. I think we said a few weeks back on the show that the reboot, the nitro-fueled one, sold 20 million copies, which put it above like Horizon franchise and a bunch of other huge winners, The Last of Us and stuff. So it's
did the drift boost start off in Crash? Because I'm sure that's in that Mario 64.
No idea.
Either way, I think they were both awesome games of the time and deserve to be compared to each other for all eternity.
For all eternity.
The fact that it is a debate, I think, just goes to show you Mario Kart 64 kind of invented a genre, and Crash stands proudly alongside us to this day.
And then even just look at the kind of the ripple effect of that is like you've got, I think there's like SpongeBob racing game, Nickelodeon kart racing. Like you basically take a franchise, put them in little go-karts, put it in a fun, colourful map, and it makes a fun game guaranteed. We had, Mod Nation races, we had Little Big Planet racing. Just, any whimsical, cute characters. I would not be surprised, Richie. I would not put it past PlayStation. Hear me out? Astrobot racing. All the little characters you collect in Astrobot, stick them in go-karts and let them out into that beautiful world that Team Asobi managed to make. Add in the little power-ups like the shrinky thing from the game, maybe the frog arms to punch your opponents as they drive past you.
The symbols, you can see how they work. You drive past
the rocket, the rocket boost. It almost like writes itself, and he is currently a PS5 mascot. So I'd absolutely buy that day one and love it.
Yeah, I think that needs to happen.
Come on, Team Asobi.
In at number 19 is Siphon Filter.
Yes.
Siphon Filter is a game that I know the name of, but don't really know the game.
Same. It's kind of a mix masher thing after the hits of like Metal Gear Solid and I guess GoldenEye on the 64. It was it's actually the team that did it was Sony Bend. This was the ironic thing is since they did Siphon Filter, they went on to do Uncharted Golden Abyss, then Days Gone, but that collectively took them like 12, 13 years. So actually, since they left Siphon Filter, they've not done much different. And then now people are calling for them to go back and do Siphon Filter again because PlayStation doesn't really have a stealth action shooter. There is no Splinter Cell. Metal Gear is on the reboot train, so they're not doing anything new recently. So actually, there's seemingly a big gap in the market for a game like Siphon Filter, where you got like certain levels, you got a bit of espionage action, but ultimately, like you, I never really got round to playing it. It was one of them that eluded me.
I feel like Siphon Filter is one where you could kind of just give it a fresh start without having to worry too much because I don't feel like I think it's more of a cult. There's a bit of a cult hit.
Oh yeah.
But you could just kind of take the kind of idea behind the early games and go, right, we're going to write a new story from scratch. And just take it forward and go, right, different unit, almost kind of do a different universe thing, right? That's all happened before. We're not getting rid of it, but we're not going to care about it.
Yeah, I do think in a way, as a franchise brand, it suffers a little bit. Like, what does it mean? What does Siphon Filter mean to like your average like 18-year-old on the street now? Like,
yeah, true.
You
it just feels like really 90s cool words put together.
Yeah. I tell you what was a cool word, just as an absolute segue. I saw something last night. Do you know the name of the tallest tree in the world is?
I feel like I do, but
it's like a redwood tree in like California, but it's called Hyperion. And I was like, that's such a sick name. That's such a cool name. Which I think it's like one of the like the moons of Jupiter or something like that, or Venus. But it was like just the word Hyperion. I was like, that's cool. That could be a Ubisoft free to play
Hyperion filter.
No, I was just saying like that's a cool 90s name. Although it was probably discovered like decades ago. In at number 18, another game that I've never played, Soul Reaver: Legacy of Kain. This is the one that
remastered last year.
Was it remastered? Yeah, I think they got like a disc release. I can't remember if it was a remaster or like a coat of paint. But yeah, this is a top-down action RPG, and it's from
2024. So Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. Yeah. So not the full remake job, but just a very
fresh
positive on Steam.
Again, much beloved. Even the sequel was as well, because this is where Amy Hennig cut her teeth before moving over to do Uncharted. So they say like the story and everything and the character design, the anticlimactic ending and stuff, it all kind of builds towards this interesting world that kind of went beyond what you would expect to find on a PS1. And no surprise they got a remake. Remaster.
In at number 17, Final Fantasy Tactics. Again, just got a remaster with the Ecclusian Chronicles, I want to say.
Yeah, they packaged them all together. I wonder when they'll run out of things to remaster at any point. Like, where all the good stuff, the well is dry, and like all that's left is utter shit like Bubsy 3D.
To bring Pokemon into the conversation, the Ivalice Chronicles, I was close. To bring Pokemon into the conversation, they made the original Pokemon games in Japan. Then they effectively remastered them for the European and global release. Then they remade them for the Game Boy Advance, and then for the Switch they brought out the Let's Go series, which was a reimagining of them. And that's before I even mentioned Pokemon Yellow being effectively a semi-remake of Red and Blue, which it came out like a year before. So
what you're saying is they could squeeze a little bit more blood out of the stone, yes.
And truthfully, if you ran a poll to Pokemon fans and went, should Nintendo do a full remake for the Switch 2 of Red and Blue, I bet you the answer is yes.
I'd buy it.
So there's scope still to remaster things that have been remastered and remade several times.
Yeah, seems to be.
But although Pokemon's a weird beast to be with, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
so it's Final Fantasy
Tactics.
Though.
Yeah.
Did you ever play it?
No.
What was the difference with this one?
I actually don't know that much. I think this one was more of a turn-based strategy rather than turn-based RPG.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know much about it. I think
Is it because it kind of condensed it down to like the kind of little pixel cute characters rather than the 3D graphics that everything was used to because we'd moved?
I think PS1 Final Fantasies, especially Final Fantasy 7 is a bit notorious for about using about 8 different art styles depending what scene you're in, whether you're in the overworld running through Midgar or you're in battle or in cutscenes. It uses basically different art styles because of memory limitations. So I don't think it's the art style. I think it's the top-down isometric kind of grid-based combat where your characters have to move around the battlefield to attack rather than just being like basically a line and just take turns attacking.
Well, according to IGN,
turn-based RPGs and that, but you get my gist.
Yeah, well, according to IGN, it was arguably the best turn-based strategy game to ever grace consoles. So there you go. Even today, there are a few in the genre that have come close to matching its majesty. Sounds like I might have to go check out this remake.
Yeah,
probably worth time. In at number 16, Ridge Racer. Type 4. I remember playing this in the arcade more than anything, Ridge Racer.
Yeah, but I think early 3D consoles were kind of the arcade at home kind of thing, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because like during like the 16-bit era, you had awesome games like some Mario and Sonic, etc. But you could go to the arcade and play true 3D games. So it's
in a proper rig as well.
Yeah,
like, especially like a racing game. Like we used to go to the bowling alley and play. Was it Daytona USA? Daytona.
I think half the time we used to go in there and sit in the car and play with the steering wheel, but didn't have any money to actually play.
Yeah, just loosen the screws for years to come. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, arcades are obviously designed to rinse your money. You barely got the time. If the timers on these racing games, when your lap times, they give you like 20 seconds to get around the full lap and at the circuit, and it's like that's virtually impossible, and you don't get enough time to practice to get good at it.
You had enough time if you were good, but you couldn't get good because of the timer.
Yeah. But Ridge Racer I think was a bit of a standout because it kind of hit that sweet spot between Gran Turismo and Wipeout. It wasn't full simulation. It had a little bit more arcadiness to it. But yeah, very fondly remembered.
Dead franchise now though. Last entry is in 2016 and Wiki doesn't even actually have a link to that game.
It'll be back.
Will it?
Everything comes back.
It's been more than 10 years.
Yeah, but Namco don't really make stuff to their outside of Pac-Man now.
No.
So, we'll see.
Bandai do. And it's Bandai Namco now.
I guess they make some things. That's a lie.
Xenogears comes in at 15. Another Square product development. Division 3 game. I do not know anything about this game.
Me either. It says in the blog that originally pitched as a plotline in a Square Enix we should point out this is Square Soft before the merge with Enix to form Square Enix. Originally pitched as a plotline for Final Fantasy VII, Xenogears became its own landmark RPG when it emerged a year later in 1998. So it seems like would have been a spin-off Final Fantasy. Didn't make it through the pitching, and then
I think it seems like, reading between the lines, it was planned to be part of Final Fantasy VII, was content that was cut, then reworked to become its own thing.
Well, it does say, I guess, the kind of the legacy of it. Yeah, it goes on. It says it's sci-fi, religious themes, not too far away from Star Wars. Became a PlayStation Essential adventure. It says its legacy, even though it didn't get a direct sequel, it had Xenosaga and then the Xenoblade Chronicle series, which people are still buying in their hundreds of thousands.
I think
today.
That's over with Nintendo now, isn't it? Xenoblade.
Yeah, it's like their like exclusive thing, which makes sense if it was kind of.
Is it? It's Xenoblade Square though, and then just published by Nintendo, something weird like that.
Xenoblade Chronicles series.
Xenoblade Chronicle.
They're definitely Switch exclusive, aren't they? I can't picture their artwork on any PlayStation or Xbox stuff.
Developed by Monolith and published by Nintendo.
If it's published by Nintendo, it's a Nintendo exclusive, isn't it? Because they're not going to publish it anywhere else.
Yeah, but it seems like there's no Square involved anymore.
They must have bought the rights or sold the rights or something at some point.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting. But that might be why it never had a direct sequel as well, because it moved over to another platform at some point. In at number 14, Richie, one for you, Final Fantasy IX.
One I've never played.
What?
Again, I didn't have a PlayStation 1, and my love for Final Fantasy really kind of starts at 10.
Is 9 the one that people... Is this the one that people are clambering for a remaster now?
I think
like they said, this is the next one after 7 wraps up.
8 and 9, I think people want. Some people want 6 as well. I think everyone wants new Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, wants new versions of old Final Fantasy. But 9 would definitely, I think, be in the mix. I mean, it's in the top 15 PlayStation games of all time. PS1 games.
Well, this says Final Fantasy IX had its most memorable members of the party and the allies to help it be absolutely incredible standout for the series, and its first step into the third dimension. That's probably why it's fondly remembered for a lot of people, going from, I'd imagine, the 2D flat art style to all of a sudden full on like 3D. 3D.
7's kind of the one that does that, to be honest, not 9. 7's art style was a bit all over the place, but there were definitely polygons. I think 9 does it graphically better than 7 does. But I think what 9's known for more is returning to an actual being a fantasy game. Where if you look at 7, it's kind of it's more steampunk route than fantasy.
Right. Okay.
So 9 kind of returns to like being like a fantasy title. So,
but it's beloved, one day.
And I'd love to find the time to play Final Fantasy 9.
In at 13, unlucky for some, Silent Hill.
They've put that in 13 for a reason, haven't they?
Maybe. If it was Friday the 13th, I'd question it more. But the original Silent Hill, before Silent Hill 2, which I think is the most revered one, which I guess we know because Team Bloober just did the remake, which was received very, very well. And have you seen Team Bloober actually teasing something as well, which everyone thinks is going to be the official announcement of the Silent Hill remake?
I haven't. Truthfully, I don't pay that much attention to them. I don't think I've played any one of their games yet.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah.
But they've done it well. They've done it justice. And the original Silent Hill can't be beaten. Zombie horror survival, very much similar to Resident Evil.
The Fog. They made a hardware limitation an iconic feature of a game.
Yeah.
That's game development for you there.
Psychological horror. Yeah. Spider-Man used it to hide the floor, and Silent Hill used it to hide everything else in the town. Yeah. In at number 12, big one for me, Spyro the Dragon 2, Ripto's Rage. My personal choice would probably be Spyro 1, because that's just the one I was most familiar with as a kid. I think I had 1. I think I maybe had to rent 2, and then I only ever played 3 round of friends, until the Reignited trilogy came out a couple of years back, and I managed to play through and get the platinum in all of them. But yeah, talk about mascots, Richie. I think Spyro is one of those that just forever.
Spyro's going head to head with Crash at one point for the PlayStation mascot.
Oh, absolutely. And I kind of think, I suspect we'll probably see another one. Again, it's that horrible licensing thing where it was initially Insomniac, and somehow Microsoft own it now in a weird way about things. Toys for Bob.
It was published by Sony, not published by Activision. Somehow Activision have acquired the license to Spyro.
It was Insomniac, yeah. So similar to when people started buying and moving things around, Insomniac moved on. They bought it. It's pretty much exactly the same as the Crash deal, almost. I think Universal Studios were involved, and then eventually Activision, and then Activision bought by Microsoft. And then Toys for Bob were supposedly working on a project, but then Toys for Bob got shut down, but then they went independent from Microsoft. And then all they constantly do is tease things with the colour purple. And Microsoft has said they're working on them with a game, even though they were going to shut down the studio. It's such like a weird thing, but in my heart of heart, I think Toys for Bob are working on a new entry in the Spyro franchise.
Yeah. Do you know when the Reignited trilogy actually came out?
Probably like 2016, 2017.
2018. It's been 8 years.
Yeah, almost. I know it was PS4, so I knew it was kind of quite a while back. Also called Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer in some regions. So I think I knew it was Ripto's Rage. Yeah, it had two names for some reason. Maybe you weren't allowed to use the word rage in certain countries. Weird. But yeah, super fun. Definitely recommend it if you're after a puzzle platformer with a cute character.
Number 11 is Driver. Isn't Driver infamous for having one of the hardest tutorials of all time, and you can't skip it?
I'm not sure if it's famous for that. I never recall having a problem with Driver tutorials. Me and my brother loved it because it had the main game was a bit frustrating because you couldn't get out of the vehicle. So unlike Grand Theft Auto, which you kind of got used to at that point, you had to drive around your car. Your car got beat up, but basically it's basically when you get a 5-star rating on Grand Theft Auto and the police chase you. It's just that with the game. The funnest thing me and my brother used to love playing on multiplayer was Cops and Robbers, where essentially you both stand in different parts of the map. And you just have to hunt each other down, and the cops have to run you off the road, and you have to avoid them until your car's damaged enough so you can get away. Driver 2, I think, was the one in San Francisco. That was more fun because you could get out of the vehicle, even though you ran like a stick man. And I used to laugh because the guy didn't have any weapons, but his shadow looked like he was holding a gun. So whether it initially was in there, and then they had to take the gun out. It's just a fun kind of beat 'em up car racer, vehicle combat.
Yeah, I was just reading the Reddit thread, and basically a lot of people a couple of years ago were going, how the fuck do I even get out of the tutorial?
I think if the tutorial says right, it takes place in a parking lot, and you've got to kind of learn how to drift and stuff around. But
you have to. I think it doesn't teach you anything. It tells you to, basically you have to do some advanced moves and stuff.
It probably says just do a 360 spin or turn or donut or something, but doesn't tell you the button prompts or how to get into the drift properly. But yeah, good crumpling, good collision modelling, and for the time it was just something different I'd never played before.
Indeed. In at number 10, Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. Would you say it's the best of the original Crash trilogy?
It probably is, because it took everything from the first one and kind of upped it. It had a couple more interesting character things. The platforming was a little bit more improved. The level design was varied, and of course Naughty Dog had kind of got their teeth cut a little bit on the first game and the success of it. I have a softer place in my heart for the first one. Again, probably like you said, as kids we just played it back to back to back non-stop. You'd finish it and you'd go back and you'd do it all again. I can say safely I finished the first game from start to finish. Whereas the second and the third one, I think I had the second one, but maybe later in its life cycle. And the third one, I think I ended up just renting it, because when you're a kid, you have to rely on birthdays and Christmas and borrowing from your friends and maybe getting a rental for a weekend. So, yeah, own number one right from the get-go, so love that. But I can totally see why, if you're going to rank them, I guess, on overall merit and design and gameplay, 2 just elevates everything from the first one. So, yeah, Crash Bandicoot, absolute timeless mascot, legend. And definitely I prefer him more than Sonic in my own mind.
Oh, that's a big claim.
Where's the Crash Bandicoot animated movie, damn it?
I think Sonic worked really well in 2D. I've never been convinced by Sonic in 3D, where Crash was designed to be in 3D right from the beginning.
Absolutely. And let's face it, this studio has gone on to basically not let us down since the 90s. Crash 1, Crash 2, Crash 3, epic trilogy. Then Crash Team Racing. So they did, again, as we said earlier on in the list. Then they went on to do the Uncharted series. Jack and Daxter series on PS2. Then Uncharted. And then they're wrapping up with The Last of Us, soon to be Interstellar. We basically had 3 decades of amazing hits from the studio.
Moving on to number 9 now, Vagrant Story. A game I've heard of but don't know anything about. It was apparently a massive action RPG.
Other than knowing it was an RPG, that's all I had.
Yeah. But it's also considered to be one of the PlayStation's most underrated games. Okay. I feel it's just like a game that didn't really break through in the West. So we over here and like in the US, not that many people played it, but it is good.
Quite possibly. A way I always like to look at like how well they're received. If I go on the old eBay now, I'm in my PlayStation Retro Hunt mind. A copy with a manual varying from £70 to £100. So
quite well sought after.
Seems to be, yeah. You can get some lesser ones, but we won't go into Retro Hunt just now. But
92 on Metacritic.
That's pretty damn good. That is pretty damn good.
And
a nice copy.
There's no negative reviews.
I'm looking. I'm in my Retro Hunt zone now. I'm like, if it's if it breaks into the top 10, how do I not have this in my collection?
You need it on the list to give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the top of this list is probably going to pain me because I'll want them as my collection. But yeah.
Tekken 3 in at number 8.
In my mind's eye, I don't know as a kid if I was playing Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. They're all just kind of blur into one punchy, kicky game.
I feel I'm more familiar with Mortal Kombat.
Same.
But I think that's more, I feel like in the 90s and early 2000s, I think it was the more iconic franchise outside of gaming. I think Mortal Kombat permeated more into pop culture than any other fighting game did.
Yeah. Made the news.
It did.
Yeah, I think this one was definitely more about just the kind of, not so much the characters, but I think more the combat.
It was in 3D. That's one of the main things, I think. It wasn't just a 2D fighting game, it was a 3D fighting game. So you could dodge left and right instead of just front and back.
They do that little roll shuffle across their knees, and you're like, damn it, missed them. Yeah.
But indeed. In at number 7, Resident Evil 2. Again, probably the best Resident Evil of the original trilogy.
Yes, I would say so. I think 3 Nemesis is always criticised for being a little bit shorter and different, but ultimately still good. 1 keeps everything self-contained in the house, but I think this one kind of just, with the dual protagonists and stuff, I think it elevated it. And it's the first one, obviously, Capcom chose to remake. It kind of kickstarted the whole rejuvenation of the franchise in the remake centre. And Leon and Claire are iconic.
I feel like I've always got more of a softer spot for 1. I don't think I ever finished either of them. But I think that I just liked you broke into the mansion and figure out what's going on. You don't really know. Where 2, you start off in Raccoon City, it's all ablaze, everything all went to shit. I think I just preferred the setting of 1 and uncovering the mystery rather than just being in the middle of all the chaos.
I can get that. But yeah, 2 definitely kind of elevated like the puzzles, the kind of zombie creatures, the shock scares, and then I think ultimately that kind of being chased.
And both games had like the kind that was designed to have 2 playthroughs, one with each character, and you'd encounter stuff that the other character had done in advance of you.
Yeah.
So which is always interesting.
Unique
so you got to see the game from both perspectives. Something games still don't do a lot.
They don't. Yeah. Split fiction's the closest you'll get. But yeah, it's Resident Evil. It's one of those things where, like, I know we've said about it on the channel many times. Like, we played it. Remember, one Halloween, you and me sat down and played like probably 4+ hours, 5 hours maybe. Got right into it, and then we never went back. So, like, I know I say when we play these, but then we've played fully through Biohazard. We've played fully through Requiem. Village. I'm about to get Requiem this month. So I'm like, I'm on the bandwagon. I just need that siloed out. I have them on my shelf unopened. Resident Evil remake on PS5, 2, 3, 4, ready to go. It's just
I do feel like 1 does need that remake. I know it's on the GameCube, but
just
it needs to be modern.
Complete the set, please, Capcom. It'll be when I finish it. That's what it'll be. If I commit to it now and play through the whole series, they'll bring out 1 as soon as I start. But yeah, great, undoubtedly phenomenal franchise, and what a name! They made the word Resident sound horror spooky.
Resident Evil. I mean, talking about iconic games on the PlayStation, number 6, I think, is probably... You can make an argument that is one of the most iconic games.
Lara Croft voted
Lara Croft.
Guinness World Records most iconic video game character, ahead of Mario on that. So
that's
credit
nuts.
where credit's due.
Nowadays, she doesn't get that anywhere near. But back in the 90s, back in 1996, 1997, she was the hottest thing in video games.
Both literally and figuratively.
Yes. Yeah.
With those pointy nips out there. And I guess, we're here to celebrate as well, because this year is the anniversary, 30 years of Lara Croft, and we're getting two games back-to-back year on year, starting this year with the Fate of Atlantis,
Fate of Atlantis, yeah.
Legacy of Atlantis?
Legacy of Atlantis, yeah.
Yeah, it's Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, ironically enough. That's where I'm getting caught up with. But yeah, Tomb Raider, interesting enough, my history with this one starts at Tomb Raider 2. I had Tomb Raider 2, but I never had 1. So when people talk about like the dinosaurs, I'm like, I remember tigers. And that's because I was playing 2.
I think I owned 2, oddly enough, on the PC, I want to say. Right. But I have played 1. Again, my cousin had a PlayStation, so I definitely played 1 at his house. I remember my uncle was really into Tomb Raider at one point.
Yeah. I mean, is there any surprise?
Think about back then, he was probably younger than we are now.
Yeah. So, who's this sexy lady who's gracing the cover of everything? So, long before we had the movies.
But then he was just, to me, he was like an old man. It was like, you were probably in your mid-30s.
Yeah, if not younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, absolute Tomb Raider, taking everything you love about kind of the Indiana Jones, but giving it to Lara, and she lives on to this day.
I can't wait to get my hands on Legacy of Atlantis.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for it. More so than the follow-up. But, it's been a minute since we had a Tomb Raider game. And we loved the whole trilogy. So I think there's that inherent love for it. And then in the wake of, like, no Uncharted for the last 10 years either, it's like, I just want... That's why I'm excited for James Bond later this year as well, because I just want that third-person action-adventure cover shooter with some puzzles and gadgets. And that's what Lara brings. So, yeah, we're in for a good year.
Indeed. Moving on to number 5, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, this is where
awesome
it's at. I guess to you this might be a bit like me for Crash Bandicoot, where it took everything the first one did and just elevated it, right?
I have the remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 pretty much all perpetually installed on my PS5. Like, I haven't played them in ages, but once in the blue moon between games, I got, you know what? It's like, you finish a game, it's like, I don't want to start anything new or big tonight. I'll wait till the weekend or something. Mm-hmm. You just need something to kill a few hours here and there. It's a great game for that. But yeah, 2, I think 1 kind of developed a formula, 2 kind of perfected it almost.
And remember, there's also, I think what made it so big and culture relevant was the soundtrack.
Oh God, yes, so good.
There's like not a song from that soundtrack that when I hear it, I don't immediately picture myself like around my mate's house, sitting on the top of the bunk beds, just trying to do ollies and kick flips and find the letters.
To this day, like, I will just quite happily sit there and listen to this soundtrack. It's awesome. Like, and that's probably, to be honest, that's probably why I like these games. Like, the soundtrack is probably one of the bigger things that I got into it. Just
cultural, right?
Yeah,
it's more than just skating. It's kind of like with the Need for Speed stuff with their music and like the kind of street racing scene. It was like, actually, it's more than about just the cars. It's the whole kind of culture. And like, it made me want to wear like 3/4 shorts and go buy a Ford Fiesta. Like, it gets you.
It very much reflected a moment in time for when we were teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
But skating it's never gone away. But I don't think for a long time it's been anywhere near as pervasive. I feel like it might be on the rise again a bit. But it was things like Tony Hawk's, Jackass, shit like that.
Yeah. Cultural,
like
absolutely cultural.
Things like bands like Blink-182 at their like early peak. Green Day, it was awesome. Awesome time to be alive.
Had to be there.
And I had no social media, so you didn't have to give a fuck.
We made Jackass videos, and thankfully they are not on the internet.
No one will ever see them.
No, they were long destroyed.
Gran Turismo 2 isn't at number 4, Chris?
Yeah.
Polyphony Digital?
Polyphony, yeah, Polyphony. This was the one that, really started to take note of just like how much graphic fidelity the PS1 and the disc format could cope with. The visuals
pushed
stunning.
it hard.
Yeah, this one, again, I remember it distinctly because it came on 2 discs. So you'd have the simulation version on disc 1 and the arcade version on disc 2. So you could play basically like multiplayer and stuff. But me and my brother, we just do the maps, go through all those like 600 plus cars. So we just go through them, pick a different car every time, kind of bet each other what could win. We'd pick a track each and just, and at the time it looked so good. And the soundtrack as well. If I recall, is it Gran Turismo 2 that's feeder? So you say about formative as well. I'm sure it starts. It has it has a cinematic with.
Is it?
Oh no, it's not.
Just
sorry,
Today or Buck Rogers.
It's no, it might have been Gran Turismo 3 maybe. Then it had the Cardigans, my favourite game. And as soon as you hear it, you're like, oh shit, yeah, I get that. I can't say the beat. I'll get us sued. Alternate electronic rock vibe.
I haven't listened to Feeder in ages, actually.
Favorite game. They're great. Feeder's great. I'm going to play a beat now from my head, so I've got it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the song. That's it. The Cardigans, my favourite game. Not Feeder. Feeder must have been on. Yeah. Maybe Gran Turismo. Yeah. It might be the third one. It's definitely on one of them. So yeah, love it.
Moving iconic. Yeah, absolutely iconic. Iconic. Well, when we're this deep in the list, iconic is definitely the word to use.
I mean, to this day, then to label it, it's PlayStation's best-selling franchise of all time.
Yeah,
better than Last of Us, Uncharted, all those other ones, Crash Bandicoot. Gran Turismo sold more copies than any other franchise on the platform.
I feel like if you look over the generations, PlayStation's first-party titles, every generation almost just wipe the slate clean and try something else.
Yeah, and this one keeps going. Polyphony never altered course, never went and made anything different. Just like every year, let's reset, let's go take more pictures of cars.
Every few years, or maybe once a generation, we are going to try and make the best racing game we can.
Yeah, well, there was an article actually a few weeks ago saying like the Gran Turismo is actually the reason it's the PS5 one, 7, is it we're up to? 8, 9, 8? Hasn't had a price cut because people are still buying it. They said it's actually seeing a rise in sales even though it's been out for a few years now because they keep supporting it with content, they keep adding new vehicles, and seemingly it's kind of like, I think people who like racing games, they are more of a casual gamer, so they will buy a console to play, as we always say, FIFA, Call of Duty, probably Gran Turismo. Is an enthusiast of cars, this is probably one you've got to own and got to play if you are into cars. So,
I also think with a racing game, because it's not tied to any like kind of racing seasons or anything, Gran Turismo, or like with football tied to the Premier League and like La Liga seasons, etc. It's kind of evergreen. So if it's something that you don't buy day and date, you don't feel like you're missing out. Where if you don't buy FIFA in the first like month or two, you feel like it's no longer worth the money. But anyway, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, this is going to be my Everest. So again, the unique thing about this one is this is the 2D Castlevania games everyone was familiar with. When we jumped over the PlayStation, it came out in 1997, so several years after the PlayStation 1 originally launched, and they launched a 2D platform game, which everyone had moved on to 3D at that point, so it was like, hang on a minute, why are we getting an old-ass game? And it just happened to be the best 2D, I guess, Metroidvania before Metroidvania was even coined. It's a pure Castlevania game. But yeah, it's known to be...
Rather than forcing it into 3D, they went, oh no, we're just going to make a 2D game. 2D games are still fun.
And they are. But I think at the time, the whole industry had pivoted away. Obviously, now you get so many games, like indie games especially, because they're easier to make. But at the time, it was like, what's going on? But yeah, soundtrack, storyline, it's basically as close to a perfect 2D video game you can possibly get. So much so, Richie, PlayStation Retro Hunt, this is going to be my Everest. A copy of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the European version, £800.
Jesus!
It is rare, it is popular, and it is expensive.
I thought it was quite a common game, to be honest. I was surprised by that.
£800.
Is it a game that's gained in infamy as it's aged?
I think because it was that last of that era on a modern console, it's held. You can get Japanese copies for cheap as shit.
Do you think it's one of them where it was always critically well received, but the time it came out, because everyone's looking at like big flashy 3D games and like, oh my, gaming of three dimensions, like this looks like an old game that should have been on the previous generation of console. This should have been a SNES game.
It's unique.
And people are like, yeah, but I feel like since probably the early 2010s, we had a big indie surge of games that were bringing back the 2D gaming. And now that's permeated very much back into mainstream gaming, where for a long time, you didn't really get 2D games from major publishers.
Yeah. I mean, just look at Prince of Persia, but then you got like Hollow Knight and Shovel Knight and stuff all did it. But yeah, it also quite uniquely came with like a double disc with the full music soundtrack on a separate disc as well. I found another one which is £650. So isn't it just wild to think if at the time you'd have had the foresight to just buy a couple of copies, keep them in a box, could have be sitting on a couple of grand worth of PlayStation 1 games right now. So yes, it will be my Everest.
How many people do you think just chucked it in a skip with a PS1 at some point?
Charity.
The parents,
Give it to their grandchildren or something. Like, you can have it to play with.
That's where you're going to find it in a charity shop for 99p.
Oh, that'd be the biggest win of my life. Could you imagine?
How tempted would you be to sell it if you found that? For just the sheer amount of profit? Like,
yeah, you would be. But then surely it's only going to go up in value as time goes. That's a lot of the stuff I talk about on Retro Hunt is actually... We're getting to a point where a lot of these games are 30 plus years old now, and as time goes by, and why I kind of think I'm keen to do it now at this point in my life is because
why it's still achievable.
Because if stuff like I'm looking at copies of like Brendan Fraser's The Mummy movie tie-in right now, not a great game, but it's super rare. You can pick one up now around for about £50 If I go on eBay right now, you'll see it on a future episode if I get it. There's only currently one copy out there. Yeah. One copy. So you're telling me in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years time, the rarity, it's not going to go up. So it's almost like it behooves me to wait to get these ones. So if Castlevania is that much now, this is where it becomes a collection. Like if the rarity drives price. So
yeah, this is where the PS6 is backwards compatible all the way from PS1 all the way up to PS6, and then limited run games starts reprinting these games.
Yeah, but it'll never quite be the original.
The original version. Still going to be beloved. Talking about original versions of games, though, Chris. In at number 2, we have Final Fantasy VII. For a long time, this game was the break glass in case of emergency game for Square. If they ever hit problems, remake this game, and they know they're going to be fine. They eventually did,
a decade
and it's
to do
awesome. But Final Fantasy VII is in the conversation for one of the greatest games of all time. Everything from the gameplay to the music score to the story was just some of the best gaming you could have, full stop. Graphically, doesn't stand up anywhere near.
I mean, at the time, though.
At the time, yeah. But...
And of course, quite controversial, because Final Fantasy prior to this was on Nintendo platforms.
It was.
So then suddenly making a jump over to a rival and a disc format and 3D was a whole lot of, oh shit, and it just happened to make one of the best epic adventures ever told in gaming.
It was probably the disc format is why they went this way rather than the cartridge format, because this was still free. I think it was 3 or 4 CDs. One N64 cartridge could not contain this game.
No.
And just the nature of the way it worked is just like, we can't make this game for a Nintendo console, unfortunately. So they went with Sony. And this is one of probably the games, alongside things like Crash Bandicoot, alongside Tomb Raider, is why the PlayStation did so well.
Yeah.
So...
fantastic. And one day we'll have the complete remake trilogy on one.
Would you consider playing them once all 3 parts out?
Yeah, I think so. I think I never had any interest in the first one, but then again, I think as we've kind of aged over the last half a decade and covered it and talked about, I think we've both kind of became more open to actually experiencing a little bit more legacy. We've done it with a lot of Xbox stuff and checked stuff out. I've gone a lot back and checked out some older things, and I just think them stuff that's so critically acclaimed and so renowned, as someone who I would class myself as a big gamer, I think I'm doing myself a disservice by not experiencing them in some way, shape or form. So why not do it with the most modern, up-to-date, complete trilogy version of it, even if it is 3 times as long?
Indeed. And the a few quick honourable mentions. Einhander, Dino Crisis, Brian Lara, Shane Warne, Cricket 99, Need for Speed, High Stakes, Legend of the Dragoon. Don't feel like we need to talk too much about that.
I'd say Dino Crisis is probably the only one that justifies really being on there.
I'm not sure about maybe High Stakes, but I'd say Need for Speed deserves a shout out as a franchise.
Yeah, I feel like PS2 is where Need for Speed really picked up, though. Just looking behind me on the wall.
No FIFA games actually on this list.
No, again, I don't think they really took off properly until PS2.
Also, IGN is an American outlet, so
that's true, very true.
Honourable mention to a cricket game, though. So
everybody loves cricket. Looking at my wall, I think the only one that stands out for me is probably the Gex games.
Yeah,
just in terms of like puzzle platform, but I could see in a top 25 how other things would definitely push it out. So
yeah.
What's our number one, Richie?
By Konami, we have Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear.
I want a remake of this game so much.
We'll get there.
Remaking the Delta just whet my appetite, so I just want this game remade.
Yeah, it's going to be hype when it gets to it.
Yeah.
But, what is to say about Metal Gear that hasn't been said? Hideo Kojima taking tactical espionage, action, stealth gameplay, a whole insane cast list of crazy characters, outrageous plot twist, story points, Cold War drama. It's one of those games that you back to what I was just saying about Final Fantasy, I think you have to experience it. Maybe a bit clunky the way it holds up now with its fixed cameras and stuff, especially for like boss fights. It's awkward as anything, but the music, the voice acting for a PlayStation 1 game, the voice acting is great.
This is where Delta did it really well. You still had the kind of fixed camera, like kind of isometric top-down viewpoints, but you could switch into first person as you chose. So for things like boss fights, it did play a lot better. So I feel like a modern version of Metal Gear Solid 1 would be awesome. So you could still have the kind of... You could do what you did with Delta, either go first person or third person over the shoulder or the isometric or blend them somehow. So for some stealth elements, you go like top down trying to sneak past, but then you could switch into like over the shoulder third person for combat. Yeah.
Absolutely. What a list.
I know. Some of the greatest games of all time, arguably.
Indeed.
And Chris, would you like to play them on a new Portal with an OLED screen?
I certainly would, but at the same time, I don't think our current Portal's screen's problematic in the slightest at all.
Yeah.
I think they look great. They look gorgeous. Again, even the Switch 2 isn't OLED, and yet it looks great. I think it's just... OLED's the buzzword.
It's more than I think OLED is more than a buzzword. It is objectively better. If you take the original Switch and the Switch OLED, you put them side by side, and every single day you would spend the money on the OLED version.
Yeah. It's got the blackest blacks.
If you own a non-OLED screen, I don't think it's worth the money to upgrade. I love that this is coming out, but I wouldn't buy it unless my Portal was to die on me, because I just don't think it's worth the money to just get slightly better visuals.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think if you're in the market for one, treat yourself. But if you're not, the original Portal, the screen's absolutely stunning still, so you're not going to miss out. But that kind of makes sense, right? They've seen huge success over the last couple of years, surprisingly so. I think we said last week the attach rate in the US was 7% per console, so it's huge. So it makes sense for them to double down and go, rather than get out an entirely new unit, especially with the rumoured PS6 to have a handheld version, you want that kind of middle ground filled with something to keep your marketing ticking over.
Yeah, it's just come out at the moment. Insider Gamers are reporting on rumours that it could be scheduled for this year, which makes me think, although it's got a very high attach rate, is it starting to taper off So now they're thinking the original Portal's been out long enough. We can get people double dipping.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a feeling though this is probably going to be where the original Portal's around about £200. I reckon this is going to be $350 plus. I think you're going to pay a premium for this OLED.
Well, maybe it'll come with the auxiliary 3.5 jack.
No, it won't. What it'll do is it'll come with even more proprietary shit, so you can have to buy Sony stuff.
Yeah.
No, actually, sorry, not Sony stuff. PlayStation branded stuff. You can't just use Sony earbuds. You have to use PlayStation ones, and they're insanely expensive.
Won't be USB-C charging. Yeah. It'll be Sony's proprietary PlayStation Vita cable charger.
It'll be USB-C, but it'll only charge properly off a Sony brand, off a PlayStation branded one. Like it, to be honest, that earbud thing, it's the biggest flaw of the Portal. Like it's just it's not needed. It's just greed. But anyway, Cairn, Chris, it's out.
Cairn in the world.
It's doing well review-wise, sitting pretty 83 on Metacritic.
Yeah, this is the climbing game that's kind of taken the PC world by storm. Especially, it's out now, and everyone's just saying, yeah, it's going to be like one of the indie games of the year. So I don't think it's quite for me just looking at it, but it's that thing where it's got that unique genre down. Where I do think a lot of people are going to look at it and get like the laughs out of it.
Yeah, indeed.
It is.
It's meant to be quite realistic in terms of simulation that allows you to climb intuitively. I'm reading now from the description. Climb anywhere and plan your route carefully, managing resources along the expedition. So it's basically kind of a survival climbing game where I can imagine you have to be precise with your inputs and I can see how that would give you the feeling of like you're climbing it's a struggle, it's dangerous. You can't be a bit slapdash with your controls. Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a story to it as well. So it's got like that kind of soft-hearted whimsy, but then at the same time the art style's really nice, and I do feel like it's going to have almost like a walking simulator, but up instead. And like I said, the resource management stuff it's going to come into play. But it's an early one to watch in January for Indie Game of the Year. So interesting stuff.
What doesn't look like it'll be winning any awards come awards season, though, Chris, is Highguard. Because although it launched to over 100,000 players, critical and user feedback is not great, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, it's not quite seemingly like Concord 2. However,
it has players.
Yeah, it has players. Obviously, all following off. The big difference again, Concord wasn't free. This is. So I do think the big spike in their player base initially is because it's free. So why aren't you going to check it out? But yeah, to have like 100,000 concurrent on launch day, but immediately start to tail off is slightly worrying. You checking the numbers currently? Live at the moment? Yeah, you check them. And I guess the big kind of pushback from this is it ended the Game Awards last year, so the kind of, not controversy, I don't want to say that because it's just a game, folks, get over it, is that Jeff Keighley ended the big Game Awards showcase with this, and he bigged it up, and he showcased a trailer. They tried to stealth drop it almost like within a few... Remember, this was only announced, this game, like 6 weeks ago, if that.
Yeah.
So credit where credit's due for getting it out in time. It's from ex-Titanfall devs. So it kind of has that DNA, but I think ultimately it's coming out into a market that's very saturated. I feel like there was a lot of bravado put behind it because of the way Jeff positioned it in that game show, so it got a lot of almost like false promise. And then it came out and it's middle. What's it currently at?
Yeah. So on release, it went straight up to 97,249 concurrent players on Steam. That was on Monday the 26th of January, 1900 hours UTC.
Mm-hmm.
By the 27th of January at 8 a.m, it was down to 11,000. And pretty much since Thursday the 29th, it hasn't picked up above 10,000. It fell off quickly.
You've lost 90% of your player base in a week.
In a day.
In a day?
It's in a day.
But when did it launch?
It launched on the 26th.
Oh,
it came out on the 26th. By the 27th, it's down to 11,000 from 97.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. And I don't even know what the microtransaction skin battle pass process is for making money, but
it's looking around just under 10,000 for the last few days, but it's getting review bombed on PC. Largely people complaining about the performance or generic gameplay. Just basically, it's just not hitting. People complaining about the maps, actually, saying it's like map size is like feels like it should be 30v30 and not 3v3.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say the 3v3 format gets tiring very quick. And there's not really much variety. So I think if you do put a few hours in, I saw a couple of people saying they'd played like 2-3 hours, and by the time they got to the end of the stream, there wasn't really much more to do. Kind of probably to like it sounds like when we played FBC Firebreak. Like we had fun with it, but then ultimately after we finished our stream, there wasn't really much more to do.
You can see where there is more because there's more levels and stuff you can lock. You can go through the rinse and repeat, get better gear, level up your party stuff. But it's the why. It didn't answer the why you should be bothered by that, because the gameplay loop itself wasn't interesting or fun enough.
Yeah. And this is where you're jumping into a market where people now have 10 years invested in Fortnite skins, Fortnite passes, and it's like, why would you leave all that behind to go play this where you've got maybe 2 or 3 skins? And it's fun, but over here you've got your entire library of purchases from 5-10 years. You can kind of see the push and pull, especially because they're all free to play. So you're not going to have to put any more money down, then why would you waste your time?
Truthfully, I remember thinking during the Game Awards, regardless of where it's at, I just remember thinking this just looked like filler. It just looked generic as hell.
Yeah.
It's got the same art style as everything you would expect from a game like this. It did nothing. I remember distinctly watching it, although I'm not the Games as a Service guy, going, what's the interesting thing here?
Yeah, we called it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not doing well. I mean, it could rebound, potentially.
No games rebounded this much after launch.
No
live service game has. If it came with a campaign, like using the characters in the world. No, but just to give it more so people could go explore the campaign, get to know the characters, and then enjoy the multiplayer. But maybe that's just us thinking old school.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think the people who will be into a game like Highguard, do they give a damn about the campaign?
They should.
I feel like the people who would care about a game like Highguard would care about the campaign once they're fully invested in the multiplayer and in to the point where they're starting to get involved in the lore of the game.
Yeah. Rather
than the other way around. But
if I was to choose, I'd say go play Cairn right now.
Yeah, that would be my choice. The pick of the bunch. Or Octopath. Or Ape Escape. PlayStation State of Play. We're getting one in February, according to Nate the Hate 2.
Yeah, he's been quite accurate. I feel like we've had one like nearly every February anyway for the last couple of years, so chances are, we'll get another one. And you know what? I think it's about time, because I think you and me are both on the same page where it's like just Sony's output and the quietness speak volumes of like realistically what was the last. We know we've got Wolverine, we know we've got Saros, but I just think the biggest studios, what are they doing?
Yeah, we need.
I just want to know. I need to see more about Intergalactic. I need to see what Bend are working on, what Blue Point are working on.
I wouldn't expect Intergalactic at this State of Play.
No, I think we'll save it for the summer.
Yeah, I feel like Saros is the next big game they've got coming up, so that's going to be there. Then Wolverine is announced for later in the year, so I feel like that will be there. And other than that, I don't think they'd go too hard with any big hitters, unfortunately. I just don't know what else they've got coming.
Is Fair Games out yet? Or was that delayed?
Yeah.
I don't think that came out. I think Concord scared them and they delayed it. So Fair Games is gone. I don't think it has. Medium Molecule, they haven't put it out since Dreams. We've got the MMO Horizon games apparently, but one of them's mobile now. So, I mean, realistically, when do we get Forbidden West?
Fair Games is a difficult game to Google, by the way. Like, it just really is.
When did Horizon Forbidden West came out the same year as Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, right? Because there's that whole joke about every time a Horizon comes out, it gets shafted by a Nintendo game.
Oh, Fair Games was cancelled, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so.
But either way, like, we should be due something from a couple of studios, like Guerrilla. What are you
No, it
doing?
wasn't. Jade Raymond let go, and Fair Games wasn't cancelled.
Right. Should be, probably, but we'll see. We'll see. We've got Marathon coming out. They'll probably talk about Marathon a bit more. That's coming out in May, right? At March? March 5th? So that's imminent. That's imminent. That's like just over a month away now.
So Saros, Marathon, probably Wolverine.
And something
They're
new.
probably your big hitters, and a few third-party stuff in there. I wouldn't be surprised if you got a Final Fantasy 7 turn up, actually.
Yeah, possibly.
It's been, 2 years now?
Yeah.
Coming up. 2 years since Rebirth. I'm sure that I saw some blog posts the other day where it's saying that they've locked in the title for the third game. Reborn. So if they've locked in the title, maybe they're at a point where they'll really want to get the marketing pushed together.
Yeah. Ready to go.
Yeah. But anything else you might expect?
I don't know, really. I just want to see what they're doing.
Same. Likewise, Nintendo, a partner direct, so this won't be Nintendo first party stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what they've got, because I feel like the Switch 2 is getting a lot of great older titles, which have pad out the library, but I want to see what some new stuff come.
Well, again, like, where's Mario? We haven't had a Mario 3D game since Odyssey. That was
that's not going to be
Switch.
That won't be at this one.
No, I'm just saying, just in general, yeah. So what partner stuff have they got?
But it's believed to be next week, so at the time of recording, so this week as the time of listening. So Nate the Hate seems to think it'll be February the 5th, but at the time of recording it hasn't been formally announced.
Thursday. Yeah, this Thursday potentially.
Yeah.
I could see that. But yeah, again, I don't know what to say. I just think a lot of these, like Xbox, to their credit, they are the first and foremost one to get on stage and go, this is what we're doing, this is what we've got coming, here's some dates, and they do it consistently. Whereas the other two, the Japanese side, seem to be quite like just, we get round to it, we'll do this. I just hope they're both good. I hope it'd be nice to kick off a February with having a great developer direct and then equal showings from these two, so we can really head into 2026 going like, God, this year's going to be another banger.
Yeah. Moving on to the last few stories. PlayStation Plus downloadable games for February. You have Undisputed, Subnautica Below Zero, Ultros, and Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. Weak month for me, this.
Yeah. Don't have any love for a boxing game. Subnautica Below Zero. Ultros. Ace Combat. If you like your flying action games, it's great. Of course, we've got Ace Combat 8 coming out, so
yeah.
I guess
you're not selling me on PlayStation Plus right now, so
nah, it's not a win. I feel like they notoriously always have a bad February. I feel like that's just a thing.
Though, since the reconfigured PlayStation Plus have multiple tiers and have mid-month library games, I feel like the downloadable games at the start of the month are falling off a cliff. You occasionally get a decent month, but it's few and far between.
Yeah, it's in a weird way the Game Pass model of having the other games is better. Even
trying to push you. I feel like they're trying to push you into the higher tier where you get a bigger access to a bigger library. But what I found, same with Game Passes, I'm actually, although Game Pass I still stand by is still to this day, even with the price hikes, the best value in video games. If you're playing a lot of different games, I found personally I wasn't. I was picking and choosing my battles, so why spend God knows however much a month on a subscription if I'm just not going to use it and then buy a game anyway?
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
Yeah. Rayman times 30. And we've got an anniversary edition popped up in the Australian ratings board, but no confirmation that Ubisoft are going to be working on any new titles anytime soon.
I think this will be most likely if we just get a remake of the first game. That'd be great. I think it's not too difficult to do in terms of just like once you get the assets, it's just like kind of it is all just 2D, so you don't have to do a great deal of work. I don't think it's been rated, which is usually a good sign it's legit. Unless Ubisoft are going to pull a Sands of Time on us and it's like 99% done, and they're going to suddenly turn around and go, no, that was one of the 6 cancelled projects. Sorry, Rayman, we're not celebrating your anniversary. Who knows? But
really could be.
I would buy it. I would buy it.
Yeah. I've never really played Rayman game.
Fun. Definitely recommend checking out the first one. Just a bit of whimsical 2D fun.
Yeah. Where do you want to go? With this, we've got some news about PlayStation 3 streaming, still a bit broken on PlayStation, but I don't think there's much.
That's going to be an evolving story, so probably just the God of War casting to follow up from last week.
God of War casting, where I'll find the correct article.
And that's specifically because it looks great. So they've cast both Thor and Odin. So we know they cast, weirdly enough, they cast the guy who voiced Thor in the Ragnarok game last week, who was the guy Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy, I want to say he was known for. But this week they've announced that Thor is going to be played by Alufa Daria Olafsson. Probably butchered that name. Sorry, Hjorvar, keep me right in our comments. He's the guy who people might know from Severance. He's the big dude in season 2 of Severance. So he's got the kind of like the meat on the bones as such to like represent that big bulky like Iron Man, not Iron Man Marvel, but like an Iron Man like weightlifting competition competitor. He's been brought in, and then Mandy Patinkin, I think it's called. He's been brought in to do Odin, which he's probably known more for Homeland. I know him from, my wife absolutely loves Criminal Minds. He did that, so he's, again, really good actor. I am disappointed that they didn't recruit the original voice actor to play Odin, though, because he's a really good actor in himself. He's in The Good Doctor recently. He was in Jurassic Park The Lost World. He played Eddie, the one who saves him in the Jeep and then gets his head ripped off while he's saving them. Obviously, that was like decades ago, but he's kind of grown into his own. I thought the voice actor, he's one of the few in Ragnarok who is a proper legit actor, kind of like Christopher Judge. So it's odd that they've gone down a different route, but at the same time,
it might not have even auditioned for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But then Mandy Patinkin. Great. So overall, I think good so far. We know Sif and Heimdall are also recruited, but everything I look at from visuals and just their acting chops and kind of the groundedness they're probably going to go with this God of War story looks good so far. The other one I've seen rumoured is people want for a trace, which we might be talking about next week, is the young lad who did Adolescence on Netflix this past year. It was his first acting role, and he won loads of awards for just being an absolute breakout star in Adolescence. He's the right age, he's young, he's acclaimed now.
So do you think they're going to hold that back, that casting?
I mean, seemingly they're drip-feeding us the castings, but there's not many left now from the main cast, so... Mamiya, who would you want as Mamiya? Scottish guy. Billy Connolly?
Billy Connolly would be funny.
I think it's past him now. I think you need... I'm trying to think what, like, Gerard
you
Butler?
You could go with... Who played Mamiya in the game? So you could go with him.
Oh, no idea. Depends if you want someone, like, recognisable Scottish actors. Oh, I guess Professor X. What was he called? David Tennant. David Tennant is as well. James McAvoy.
David Tennant could be an interesting shout for Mamiya. I feel like he's got a different style of comedy, but it'll be quite fun.
Yeah, do that one. Yeah, just someone with a Scottish. Graham McTavish is Scottish. He's the guy who he's done both TV as well, but he was Lazarevich in the Uncharted series. He's known for voice acting in games. Got a nice
Mel
big
Gibson.
beard.
He's Scottish.
No, he's not. No, he's not. But yeah, looks good. I'm excited again. I trust Amazon. They've done Fallout justice. I trust them a lot more than I do Netflix with an adaptation. So let's see.
But that is all we have time for this week. We like to round up the show every week with this day in video game history. So starting on January the 30th, Chris, what jumps out to you?
12 years ago, my life was changed with Octodad Dadliest Catch.
Yeah. I never realised to this. This is the moment I just realised it's Dadliest Catch, not Deadliest Catch.
Yeah. Catch. It's an octopus disguised as a dad in a whimsical game where it was very much one of those early games where you use physics for humour. So, like we love like Fall Guys and Human Fall Flat and stuff. It's just that, but you're an octopus. You have to navigate somehow through a room where every limb's independent. So you can do multiplayer where somebody has half the body, the other person has the other half. And it's just fun and whimsical because he has a human family and no one knows he's an octopus. And you just go through these missions. You go to the aquarium, you're in the back garden trying to cook a barbecue, and it's just all over the place, tentacle craziness. I played it on the PlayStation Vita and the PS3. Must have been PS4. Must have been an early PS4 game actually. But yeah, so funny. An amazing theme tune. Me and our friend Lee used to sing the theme tune all the time when we were drunk.
I feel like I want to point out 2 years ago, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League came out.
Did it? Did it really?
Yeah, apparently that was 2 years ago.
Wow.
Oh, January the 31st, we are starting to hit some good games are starting to come out now, Chris.
Wow.
29 years ago, Final Fantasy VII.
There we go. We're out of the Christmas window.
Yeah, with a banger.
I like it.
Colin McRae Rally 26 years ago.
Colin McRae was a great one.
Yeah.
It was a great one.
Smash Bros. Brawl 18 years ago.
Trying to look at which other ones. 32 years ago, on February the 2nd, we had Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which rounded out the original trilogy.
But then, yeah. Awesome game. And Knuckles.
And then 5 years ago, 2021, Valheim. That was a huge moment, wasn't it? You and Tom played it on the channel, right?
It was me and Rob.
Was it you and Rob?
Might have been Tom as well. East 9 Monstrum Nox actually came out as well. Wow. 5 years ago on Stadia. It's it. Game FAQs, you stay only play PS4, but I played it on Stadia. Proofs on the channel.
Proofs there. But yeah, so getting better.
That is all we have time for this week. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you keep in the loop all the fantastic content here at GamerGuildTV. Follow us on our socials. All the links are in the description below. But if you can't be able to go in the description, it's at GamerGuildTV, wherever you want. We've got a Discord server where some of the stories that have been cut might be getting discussed in there. I'm sure there's a few bits that are going on. I'm sure at one point earlier this week we were talking about the camera in Super Mario 64.
Yeah, we were indeed.
So you get other stuff there. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been Richie.
I've been Chris.
GG everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.